So here are some of the central questions that I really want you to think about as we think about all the things that we've talked about so far. The first question really to ask yourself is, what are the explicit trade-offs that we are engaging in? And that involves these questions of what to do and what not to do. The second really key question is around which of our activities are really just best practices and are pushing mainly operational effectiveness ahead, whereas which practices are really strengthening our strategic distinctiveness and really strengthen our competitive advantage. Where is really the source of our competitive advantage coming from? So just to be clear again about this distinction, because I really don't want to say that operational effectiveness is not important. Of course it is important. But what we really want to avoid is that we improve our operational effectiveness by just imitating what other firms are doing, because then in some sense our operational effectiveness is driving our strategy. And our strategy in some sense is the result of these operational effectiveness improvements. But if we do that, we'll inevitably run into this problem of strategic convergence. We become more efficient, but we undermine our distinctiveness. So what we really want to do is we want to think about strategy first, our positioning first. What do we want to achieve? And then we want to implement operational effectiveness and push ourselves to the frontier at that particular point of the frontier. Once we've identified those activities where we're really different, then we can start thinking going forward, how do we strengthen these activities? How do we protect them so that we can really strengthen our sustainable competitive advantage? And lastly, as we've discussed with the Liz Claiborne case, really let's think about, as we expand or as we make changes, that we really understand the interdependencies among our activities so that we're not engaging in these small incremental changes that then lead to many ramifications in our activity system that we didn't anticipate, or that we add new activities because we want to enter new markets and they create lots of misfits with our existing activity system. So please keep those, what I would call central questions of strategy in mind as you start thinking about the strategy of your organization.